Alright, welcome back with some more easy blues harmonica, and today we're going to talk about how you construct your notes, like focusing on your attack, your sustain and your end of the notes, so like the beginning, the middle and the end. So I'm going to call this one the sound of sounds because last week when I was doing our recording on the blues scale, I was talking about slowing the scale down enough so that I was able to control my notes. And one of the techniques that I sort of used to practice that sort of thing. Being a wind instrument player, we play a lot of long tones, basically where the idea is to start the note, hold it at a certain volume level and end. So what am I sort of talking about? Well, I'm going to grab out one of my rockets this week. I feel like running some rockets. I've recently made up a set that goes from high F sharp all the way down to low F. So grab out your C harmonica. And let's have a go at this. So this is something everyone can start doing from as soon as they pick up the harmonica. And something that I like to sort of do is really just breathe in and then breathe out. Now, tone, like the sound that you make, is generally what's sort of complimented on harmonicas. It's very rare for people to come up and say, oh wow, you're playing a lot of really fast notes, or oh, I particularly love that 6-hole overblow. I've had one person mention an overblow in my entire time performing. So most of the time what people do is they say, I love how the harmonica sounds. And that's sort of what really draws me into harmonica as well. I love how it sounds too. So when you first start off playing harmonica, what I like to do is work on just like the bottom 3 notes of the harmonica. And if you get your finger and actually hold it over the 4th hole, then you'll hear what you want. So I've got just those 3 holes. I'm just breathing in. And relax, breathe out. Now, if you add in the 4th hole and have a listen, just 3 holes. 3, 4. So you can hear the difference. So I just want to work on those first 3. So if you're just starting out, the thing that I used to do a lot was literally hold my hand over the harmonica, breathe in on those 3 holes. And now breathe out. So I've got a very soft breath. I'm not like, it's actually like how I'm sort of talking. It's actually a little bit more relaxed than how I'm talking. So I breathe out. And I keep breathing in. Now the thing that I can adjust while I'm doing this is we often use the syllables we and oh. And if you feel inside your mouth when you do that, like if you make a wee sound, and then you make an oh sound, and do it like that. So the wee's high, wee, and the ooh's oh. So if you make that wee sound and breathe out, so wee. Now if I keep going, actually like wee, we don't want that, so actually like take away the noise, but like keep that wee. If we do the same thing with that oh, what we're listening for is so that different in sound is coming from my mouth going wee and oh. And that gives us like a lot of range in harmonica. So if we do the same sort of thing while we're breathing in, we're just going to go wee oh, wee oh. Yeah, so I like to practice like that a lot. So I'll just like show you as sort of an example. So I'm like, now the trick, if you like, with all these sort of things is it's very easy to talk about this, and I'll share a little story because otherwise we're just going to hear like harmonicas just like blowing notes all the time. Now, I was talking to someone about like tongue block overblows because I can do tongue block overblows. They're not my best sort of thing, but like I'm able to sort of do them. And this guy wanted to talk about them. Like he wanted to say like, yeah, what do you do inside your mouth? What do you do with your tongue and all those sort of things? And he actually got like really sort of cranky when I didn't tell him. Sort of like got up and said, oh, you just don't know what you're talking about. Like I don't think that sort of stuff is very important. And the reason I say that is because I think learning harmonica is like learning how to talk. And no one taught you how to talk. You sat there making all these weird sounds that were possible with your mouth. And people would like reinforce different ones and say, sort of slowly learn how, like, yeah, that is like a mum sound, da, it's a sound, da, 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 those sort of things. So I think it's the same with harmonica. So if we focus on that that high pitched sort of thin sound, and then that oh. Now people talk a lot about sort of tongue blocking and how it gets like a really big fat sound, mostly because tongue blocking will naturally give you that oh sort of big resonant shape inside your mouth. So what is tongue blocking? What do we sort of mean about that? Because like this is something that everybody can sort of do. It literally, if you just breathe in on the harmonica and stick your tongue on the harp until you get one of the notes to sound. So if we use like holes 1, 2 and 3, and adjust your tongue till you hear usually just the highest note out of the right hand side of the harp. If you want to do lip pursing, which is the other way to get a single note, usually makes like that kissy sort of shape, but you want to jut your lower lip out, like sort of roll it out, make a big sort of lip sound. So that's lip pursing and tongue blocking. So whether you want to lip purse or tongue block, entirely up to you. But when you're making a single note, you can do exactly the same sort of thing. So I'm going to do that wee oo sort of sound on 2 draw and 3 blow. So 2 draw first. Okay, so we've got a way there to adjust our notes. And something else that you might sort of notice while you're doing that is that's also how you can bend. So as well as just doing wee, oo and changing how the note sounds, like 2 whole draw, it'll also bend down in pitch. So you've got 2 different ways to control your notes there. You can bend them in pitch and you can control how they sound. The other thing that you can do, but it's a much subtler thing, I'm not sure if this will come across on the phone, is if you hit a bent note, like 2 draw double bend, a note that we sort of use a lot, adjusting the pitch a little bit there. You'll notice if you use that wee sort of thing, it tends to more adjust the pitch. But again, you can still use it to adjust whether the note is like thin, like that wee sort of sound, or that ooh sort of sound. So everything we've been doing so far is just working on notes. And most of the time when we start, we just sort of breathe in like. The other thing that's important to do is to start the note like staccato. And by that I mean, usually we use like syllables for this, like instead of vowels. So like your ta, ka, pa, those sort of notes. I use like ta, 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 breathe in, ta, 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 ta. Hold on, 2 draw in and 3 hole out. So see there, we've got a very short note. So what can we do as a wind instrument? So unlike guitars and percussion, where they're very much a staccato note all the time and it trails off, not a lot of control over that. You vocalists, also like violins, like a bowed instrument, and especially wind instruments, you've got all this control over how your note starts. So I can start my note, have the middle of the note, and then the end of the note. For example, how do we practice this sort of thing? So I want to start with a ta, and then finish the note. Things to watch out for. I don't want to go run out of air. I don't want to go get louder. I want to keep the note the same. You can get louder. These are things you can sort of do. So like you can crescendo and decrescendo. So for example, I'm going to start off soft, get loud, and go soft, all on 2 draw. Notice there's a t to finish the note. Or I could start loud, get soft, and go loud again. So yeah, control your notes. Start, middle, and finish. And the best one for doing this is what I call long tones. So this is how I practice long tones. I'd be playing instruments for a long sort of time. So I basically want to breathe in, breathe out, and I'll let you hear my sort of rhythm. So I'm going to be sort of so I'm focusing on like a moderate volume, so not too loud, not too soft. Starting my notes with a t or a p articulation, so ta, keeping the note very solid in the middle, and finishing with an articulation as well. Hear the difference if I just sort of go ha, like. Versus ta. Now, the other thing we can do is we can control our note. Once we can keep our note nice and steady, then we've got all our vibratos and all those different sort of effects. So what am I going to do? Things that you can do while you're doing this. So wee you, good start, moderate volume, good end. Wee you, wee you, wee you. Blow. Vibrato, which is instead of with my diaphragm, which is what that one was, we're like ya 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 with my throat. So so we've got all these textures that we can play around with, and to give yourself time to do this, what I like to sort of do is drones. So we've got some ambient drones for this one. So because, like, for example, just like sort of sitting here breathing in, breathing out, can get a little bit sort of, you know, not so bad with chords. But if I do single notes, 2 draw. Not so much fun, that just like as a single note. A little bit harder for people to listen to. So when I'm doing single notes, ambient drone. A nice background here, and this gives us some music to sort of listen to. So I do the same sort of thing as what I was doing before. Go forever listening to that against the drone in the background. So yeah, a lot of things you can do to control your notes. You've got 3 parts of the note: the start, the middle, and the end. You can just start them off with just like a soft attack, like huffs, and start them off very staccato. Everything in between. The practicing of it is the most important part. Like knowing, you know, so, oh yeah, that's what the guy sort of said in a 15-minute video. It's not going to help. sitting on your porch, having a nice sort of drone going in the background and just listening to the texture of the notes. That's the sort of thing you want to do. And it's not sort of really fun to listen to, but I've only just been working on like the low end of the harp and on our 2 draw notes. The other thing you want to do with this sort of drone is hear how every note sounds against the drone. Use your scale. So I'm going to use a blues scale, and I'm going to go through it just like a very steady pace, just go up the scale, down the scale, and I'm not going to experiment too much. I just want a nice attack, solid note, nice end. Just to sort of have a bit of a listen. And normally I'd try and do this sort of thing just for like 10, 15 minutes, just sort of go wherever it inspires you, play with your different sort of attacks. So, see how we go. I'm going to use 3 blows so I get the air out. I'm going to use 5-hole blows so I can get the air out. Don't forget your hand effects. Get out there, have some fun.